End Time Truth Television, the channel for the lovers of truth, for the truth of the end time. So if you are a lover of truth, give us a subscription and God bless you. Shalom.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. God bless you today. I bring you greetings in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. I know that some of you may have seen this conversation or this report, but I just want to add the volume to it. You know what I do is that I amplify that which is good and I question that which is not so good. The story of the death of the late artist, Sister Osinachi. I told you guys that what hurts me most about the lady's death was that in her lifetime, she was not an entertainer. She was one of the rarest worshiper that we have or that we had. And unfortunately, we lost her to this situation that was actually completely avoidable. I know I've heard many people talk about the church and the pastor, and I also understand that so many of you will want to disagree with me, which is okay. Your opinion is right, in as much as you give your opinion with some form of decorum and respect and the fear of God. I just don't believe in blaming, the church for everything and blaming pastors for everything. I want to believe that people should also be matured enough and be responsible for some things. I understand the kind of a woman that Usinashi was. She was this kind of a woman, and her kind is rare. You don't find that kind of a woman anymore. And unfortunately, not that they are no more available, not that you don't find them anymore, but you don't find them everywhere. She was an angel of a sort, and unfortunately, she was united with a demon who doesn't really deserve her. That man did not deserve such a woman, but unfortunately, it is what it is now. Now, a certain Talin, the Minister of Women Affairs in Nigeria, visited the children and she told us what she found in the family. And that I would like to relate to you. It is not my story. It is a story that was carried by a reputable news outlet, the Punch newspaper in Nigeria here, and also was said to have been monitored on the national television in Nigeria here. So it is authentic. Now you will understand why I said that it is not actually right to want to pin everything on pastors. I understand that there is misbehaviors, coming out from pastors, and everybody now is unleashing, hate against pastors. But this one, I just want you to understand that Osinachi could have done something if she had wanted to do it. So let's just listen to what the woman said. I'll be reading it out from the Punch media. God bless you. So here you have what the Nigeria's Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talent, said on Wednesday when she visited the home of the late Osinachi Nwachukwu, the gospel artist who was murdered by her husband. In her narration to Punch, on a program that was monitored by Punch newspaper, she spoke on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria's Breakfast, and she said, according to the minister, the widower of the deceased, Peter Nwachukwu, brutalized the late wife and her 4 kids, adding that the late gospel artist had no bank account of her own as all her proceeds were usurped by her husband. The Punch had earlier reported that the 42-year-old artist died on Friday after spending days at an undisclosed hospital in Abuja. Colleagues of Osinachi, who was a lead singer at the Dunamis International Headquarters Abuja, accused her husband of beating her. Subsequently, the husband was arrested by the police over the death of his wife. Speaking on Wednesday, Talin said she visited the Abuja home of the deceased on Tuesday to identify with the grief-stricken children. And here, what she said. The minister said, "It is so traumatizing, so heartbreaking, the death of Osinachi. When I came into the compound, I saw the children, 4 beautiful children, 3 boys and 1 girl. He, Peter, had told the children that they should not speak about the things that have been happening in the house. I came in with all the directors in the ministry. When I was asking questions, I saw that the children were not forthcoming. I excused everyone and said I wanted to have a one on one with the children. I first spoke with the first son. I asked him, "Do you love your mother?" He said, "Yes." "Has your mommy taught you to tell lies?" He said, "Yes." I asked him if she is still alive, and he said, "She's dead." "Do you know that she is now your angel and she is now watching you?" He said, "Yes. So it will be very sad if you tell lies." I introduced myself and I told him the president is concerned, every Nigerian is concerned. We all joined them to mourn Osinachi's death. But what we want from him is the truth. Then he opened up and said that their dad used to beat their mom and their mom was always sad. He would beat her and flog her. He said their father would gather them in the room and be beating them. And if the mom comes into the room to stop him, he would turn back on her and beat her up. And that has always been the issue. They said it was their mom that runs around on her gospel music, comes back with her money. In fact, if the money is paid through a bank account, it was paid into his account. She has no account of her own. Any money she has, he collects it and gives her just peanuts for feeding. And when she cooks, he started shouting and beating her. And their mom was living in fear and was always sad. It was such a horrible story from a young boy that is said to be just 12. I asked him what class he is, and he said class 5. At the age of 12, I said, "Why?" And he said he can't even read. So mentally, this child is already destroyed. I was battling with tears, and when he finished, I called on the second son. Talin further said the second son repeated the same horrible situation as well as the third son. The minister vowed that justice would be served on the matter as it would be followed to a logical conclusion. Well, so having listened to what I read out and you also saw it play out on your screen, it wasn't as if I concocted it. I will leave you to make up your own mind. For me, when Pastor Paul Enenche, Dr. Pastor Paul Enenche came out and he said he never knew such thing was happening. And if we are to compare what he said with what the children said, that their father would always bring them inside and will trash them and punish them. And there is also the story that uh, he told them even after the death of the woman that they must never disclose to anybody what happened. And that was the reason why the woman said the children were not forthcoming with the truth until she had to use wisdom on them and extract the truth from these children. You see, so that tells you a lot. When the man was always there with the children, and according to Paul Enenche, after the children would hug him and he would pray for them, when they go home, he would be asking them, "What did you tell Pastor?" And so they were children, and they believed that anything that could come out from them against their father may, you know, uh, warrant their death because they know the kind of a demon that their father, happens to be. Unfortunately, they were children enough not to let the public know, to save their mother alive. So that was the kind of children that this man was raising. And you can imagine a boy of 12 years in class 5 and who cannot even read. You can understand how traumatized those children would have been, not to talk of their mother. The children that their mother cannot even save, the children that when their father was beaten, and even if she tried to come in to save them, she would also be endangered, would become a victim of the man's wickedness. I I sincerely sympathize with the family and with these children, but that is where it ends because we cannot bring her back. I still want to reiterate my stand on this. Yeah, nobody should die in an abusive relationship. If you are listening to me, don't die in an abusive relationship. Listen to me, what people call courtship. If you are courting a person, or what people call dates, if you're dating a person and that person can slap you, or that person can give you some kind of treatment that you don't think you can cope with, but you believe that marriage will open it up, the marriage will change the person, you are joking. Because at that point in time, What the person is giving you is just 25% of who he or she truly is. When marriage, comes in, then when you enter into the marriage proper, that is when you will see the full blown Satan that you had relationship with. So if what you're getting from him or her now is something you cannot endure, I advise you take a walk, run away. It is better you remain unmarried than to be married to a demon or a goddess from the water. I just want you to understand this. But even if you have been entangled already in a messy relationship that is called marriage and you think you are not safe, your life is endangered, I will advise you, you may not outrightly get a divorce, but you can just walk away from that relationship. There is the possibility that after few years, the two of you would have thought it over and think about it. Does she deserve me? Does he deserve me? If the person that is offending or abusing the other person thinks that I've made mistake and there is genuine repentance, there could be reconciliation, but you just have to be alive first before you're thinking of this. I know women are emotionally attached to children, which is quite wonderful and that is good and great. Any woman that is not quite, emotionally attached to her children is nothing less but a witch. Now, but your children must not be the reasons why you should die before your time. You need to be alive for those children to feel the presence of their mother. Even if you are disconnected from them, it can only last for a while. And in their consciousness, when they know that our mother is alive somewhere, one day, believe you me, they will come looking for you. And in the present world that we are in, it is actually impossible for any man to deny his maybe estranged wife access to her children. It is not done. So this is my counsel to you all. God bless you. Let me know what you think of this, and I'll be seeing you in the next video shortly. Till then, from me to you, shalom.